I've just bought something and I'm hoping it's going to take my squat into the next level. So what we've gone and bought is so we've got a couple of bands. Added resistance bands to your squat can help you build explosive strength and break through those plateaus. This method has been used by all those big lads at Westside Barbell, but how does it work? In this video I'm going to be trying to squat with bands for the first time. I'll show you how I set them up, the benefits and how you can implement it into your training. But yes, this is my first time trying it out. So I don't really know how I'm going to set them up. So what do you usually do and what Westside do? They have power racks. So power racks are the sort of the cage like things. On the bottom you can sort of strap these to it, or you can put pins through the bottom of a power rack and you can strap these to it. It makes it much easier. I obviously don't have a power rack, so I'm going to try and make something work here. I don't really know how it's going to go. I'll set it up now and we'll see how it goes. But what I'm thinking, I can just attach it to the bottom of here. I probably have to weigh it down a bit. So I got some dumbbells. Hopefully I don't have to use too many plates because of the band as well. And I'm going to work up to a heavy 6 reps with this. As it's fairly new, I want to get used to it. I want to get a lot of reps in. I want to get sort of accustomed to using bands. I bet it's going to feel really weird, especially coming out of the rack at the top. So I'll set it up now. So we have actually got some sort of setup. A bit lucky that I've got like these little feet on my squat rack that I can sort of slide them under and attach it to. I don't really know if there's enough tension there. Give it a go now. See how it feels. I think I'm going to like try shorten it a bit. So I'm going to wrap it around a little bit at the bottom, just so it creates like a bit more tension. Because at the minute it's feels like it slackens like way too early, like halfway down the lift. So what I'm going to do now, I'll put it under and like tie it through just to shorten it a bit more, give it a bit more tension all the way through. Hopefully that'll feel a bit better. I did just watch that video back and we had like way too much like slack when we got to the bottom. You probably saw it before I did, but it felt like a bit like that. So I've just doubled it over now. It is way tighter. Hopefully that feels a bit better. Hopefully it looks a bit better. Yeah, that sort of felt a bit better. Felt like obviously lowered the tension as I went down, but the goal is obviously that, but not having it too slack and slapping about at the bottom. So we're going to build in weight now. As I said, we're going for 6 reps. So I'll probably start with 6 reps. Can't imagine I go too heavy, or get too heavy anyway, but we can see how it goes. So that was technically 60 kilos with 40 kilos, no, yeah, 40 kilos of band. Yeah, so it was like 80 kilos at the top. No, 100 kilos at the top, 60 at the bottom. I think. Yeah, should have been right at the top, would have been 100 kilos of tension, of force, I think. Definitely felt it. It was definitely a weird feeling. Something being a lot easier at the bottom, like 60k. The bottom isn't heavy for me, and then as you're coming up, we definitely feel it. Definitely feel the tension getting harder, and it just has that, it flips your intention a bit. You can't switch off, can't ease up after coming out of the hole. It means you're pushing all the way through the lift. It's interesting. Now I need to work out what weight to go. If you've got 80 at the bottom, 80 kilos at the bottom of the lift will then be 120 at the top, I think. So I don't know whether it's like, oh, I can't talk with music in my ear. So I don't know whether it's a factor, like I'm quite tall, I have quite long legs. So my squatting technique is probably more hingy than your short, than somebody who is a very upright squatter. I'm not a very upright squatter naturally. So with this, it really focuses on me driving. Sort of what I think of when I'm squatting anyway is I'm driving sort of up and back slightly. So if I was pointing like diagonally behind me, that's where I think I'm driving. So that means I never sort of come forward too much with the bar on my back. With this, I feel like it really emphasises that on the fact I need to do that, because I think I probably get quite hingy, probably around parallel, but because it's dragging me down so much, or the bands are pulling so much as I'm going back up, so it emphasises that is where I need to be pushing, and I can really feel it in my glutes, which I didn't really expect, but gotta be good, surely. It's gonna help me out. But yeah, gonna keep working up now. Felt alright because it feels so light at the bottom. So I'm gonna take some jumps. Take jumps in probably about 20 kilos. I'll keep filming. I'll see how it goes.
Using the bands is all about developing your rate of force development. By increasing the weight as you stand the squat, it doesn't allow us to ease off through the lift. If you squatted before, you know the hardest part of the lift is at the bottom. This means that people tend to stop driving without full intention throughout the movement when it gets easier. But with the bands it's different. As the load increases as you stand, you need to drive all the way to the top of the movement. Rate of force development is related to the speed at which muscles can produce force. Obviously, the faster the rate of force development, the quicker and more explosive you will be at movement. If you have two athletes who can squat 200 kilos, but one can produce the force quicker than the other, the one who can produce the force quicker has a better chance of making the lift. Louis Simmons always said most lifts are usually failed by them taking too long to complete.
So we're going to carry on, move on to our, again, reverse hypers. As I said in obviously the last video that I'm working sort of on that lower back sort of side of it. So I'm going to carry on doing these again this week. And then I might mix up next week, although they felt really glute, them squats, as I said, they felt really like glute and like lower back heavy. Although it's like at the bottom it felt really quaddy, and then as I was making my way up, it felt quite, my glutes were really engaged. So I don't usually feel that when I squat. As I said, I've never done them before. It was interesting. I enjoyed them. I think we built up to, well, there was 110 kilos on the bar with the plates plus the bands. So ranged from 110 at the bottom to 150 at the top. So working between them two ranges. So that's like my 6 rep max. Did it without a belt this week. just because I was getting a feel for it. It took me a while really to warm up. But yeah, next week I'll probably do something similar. I'll do something with the bands again. I might box squat with the bands, but yeah, I'm gonna use them quite often, a few variations of them, just sort of get used to them, get them reps in, see where it goes.